Right. Hello. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully this is working. Hopefully my mic is working and I'm not just talking to myself in this room. And so, yeah, let's see what we've got here. Let's see, who have we got? Apparently we've got 6 people watching. So if you can hear me, can you just let me know in the comments? That would be fantastic. And so I can know that this mic is working. But basically, I've just got some time this afternoon to do a little bit of hobbying, and I figured I'd turn the camera on and stream, because I haven't done one of these in a couple of months. And Haley's taken the kids out, and they're hopefully going to be out for an hour or two. So it's a prime chance to get some hobbying done on this nice bank holiday weekend. So, oh Jesus, okay, all right, they're ready, loaded. Good, everything's working. Fantastic. Good. That's to be a first time. What have we got here? Hello, Jay. How you doing, mate? I hope you're well. String7, ZKSF. Hello, and you can hear us fine. That's been Battlemat. I just saw your comment on Facebook, mate. I hope you managed to get permission to get away. You got rain. Rain has stopped gardening. Back to Carabiniers. Was that just a little bit of spot of rain, and then you've decided that's enough to call it a day? We've got here Luke. Getting you loud and clear and waiting for some badger love while you paint up more royalties. I haven't got, actually, I've got one. I've got one other to do. It's not a badger though, it's a mouse. You might have seen that when I ordered Dom that stuff, I thought I can't order him all of this and not get something for myself. So I don't know how well that's going to come out. But basically, I've got a mouse, teeny little mouse, who's dragging a sack of loot or cheese to escape. So I thought he was quite fun. But when you compare him in size to the badger, you got, I mean, look at that. At least they're enforcing scale differences here. So there we go. Yeah, but what is everyone working on? I'm working on some English Civil War. Just finished a batch of Wars of the Roses stuff, so figured these guys are on my desk, so I'll get these out. So I've got these Bicorn pikemen to do. So this is for the back 2 ranks of my my pike block. What else have we got? Hello, Lionheart. How you doing, mate? You think she's asleep in front of the Suka now? Oh, you're doing some nav using my tutorial. Thank you very much. Hello, mate. How's it going? And Brush and Quill. Fantastic. Well, I hope everybody is doing well. Everyone's having a good bank. I might just change the way that comes across. Let's see if this. There we go. That comes up a little bit larger now. Fantastic. Right, there we go. Battlemat, you're doing a Culverin and Philip Skipton command base. Very nice. I haven't done any command bases yet. I was realizing this, that I'm desperately trying to get all this stuff painted so I can have a game of this once we're able to, sort of like mix properly and have a game. And I haven't done any commanders yet, so I'm going to try and do all 3. I'm going to be doing Hopton, Astley, and probably Charles, because I got the Royal Standard and it's beautiful, so I want to have it on the field. Hello, Simon. Yes, so Simon here is one of the guys I regularly game with in plays Burrows and Badgers as well, and our friend just has this little white rat that takes out everything in Burrows and Badgers. That's why I love that. I love that game, and I've only actually played a couple of games of it. I need to play some more, definitely. You're working on your naval brigade for the Zulu War. Fantastic. I thought I said naval badger for a minute for the Zulu War. I need to get that out of my head. We got some 15 mil Civil War Union. Is that the new Warlord stuff, or is that someone else? What brand are you using? Well, that new Warlord stuff's it's not actually 15 mil, is it? It's like 12 or 13 and a half, something. Mind you, I don't know how accurate it all is. Is it like heroic scale 28 mil and then actual scale? Fantastic. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep up with these. ZKSF. I was going to call you ZK for now, because I'm going to keep on getting in touch with you. You asked Napoleon War Game about appearing on the Plastic Crack podcast. I sent some Barrow Boy, said it'd be game. Yes, I saw your comment. I hadn't had time to go and pick up on his stream though properly, because basically this is the first free time I've had today, so I'll have to go and have a look. But that would be fantastic. I'd love to give him a battle report. I'd love to see his stuff. I really enjoy his videos, so I'd be fantastic. And if we could get him on the podcast, be even better. He can just wipe the floor with all of our Napoleonic knowledge. That'd be fantastic. No, brilliant. I will drop him a line. Thank you very much. Astley, if you have a royalist in the family, I suppose you would have to be. Yeah, that's what I think. And to be fair as well, Hopton seems pretty good. I'm quite interested in the relationship between Hopton and Waller, and Paul Richardson, and a couple of other people actually sort of pointed me towards some letters that the two exchanged during the war, which sort of just to give you an idea of sort of how he fought and what he thought of, how sort of badly it affected him fighting against his friend. So and then we've got to add the Man of Blood. We're gonna have to have Charles on there, but I don't know which model to use for him. There's a couple and they're quite nice, and I've seen a very cool one of him on foot, and I can't remember who makes it. That might be Bicorn. And I thought that might just be a bit different, because quite often you have all these guys on horses. Certainly doing Napoleonics, and certainly in the Wars of the Roses, there's just this temptation to put them on horses. So I quite like having off a bit like my Napoleonic command base for Napoleon, the one that the Perrys make, where he's sort of like dishing out orders. That seems to be the one that most people use, and it's a foot one, which is quite nice. What else have we got here? Brush and Quill, you're currently building some terrain with a Fallout theme. Is that actually for the Fallout miniatures game, or are you just doing some nice sort of post-apocalyptic stuff? King, Old Glory. I've got some Old Glory. I've got some Old Glory stuff here. So they are still nice, though. Lionheart, badges with Martini Henry Ruffles. I think you might be on something now. If you get the pith helmet on Martini Henrys. But what could you replace the Zulus with? I mean, you could have like hordes of like shrews or like rabbits, something like that. That would be awesome. You could do them holding out. There we go. There's a big game for crack on, isn't it? We'll have a giant game in the middle of burrows and badgers, but we'll use Rorke's Drift and have a bunch of animals defending it against hordes of other animals trying to take it over. You can see it now. It'll be like that scene in Starship Troopers where they're holding off all the bugs. Christian and painting some Perry French, painting the officer now. Good call. Is that the new Perry French, or is it the late war stuff and that has been out for a couple of years, or is it the new set? Miller's afternoon, Jed's having a nice bank holiday weekend. I am. Hope everybody else is as well. It is quite sunny here. Hence, yeah, why the kids are not here, and we have the opportunity to do some painting. Although I think I've just worked myself to a bit of a corner. I think it's time to do the shade, because I've done, these are going to be for Henry Bard's regiment, and Miller's probably the reason why I'm doing these, because I think we're planning on having a game quite soon out of lockdown, and if you haven't seen Miller's collection of ECW, he outnumbers me slightly, so I'm trying to get these up to scratch by then. But after I've done these, that'll be all the infantry I've done and the muskets, and that means then I'm going to have to get the cavalry out, which again, if you know me, it's not something that I relish. So I'll have to just see if I can crack on. So these I'm painting up as Henry Bard's regiment of foot. So we've got his colours here, which I thought was quite cool. And basically they've got grey coats. I think they need, from what I see, said there was basically no one knew if they had grey or blue, but I've already got a blue coated regiment. I've got a red coated regiment. So I thought, well, I'm going to do grey. So I've just put the first coat of grey on these guys, and it's just I've used that contrast paint, Space Wolves grey. That's what I'll do the base with. I'll put on all, there's going to be some shading done over in a minute. I'm going to be using the strong tone from Army Painter, and then I'll be picking out some highlights. So I might as well start getting this strong tone on while doing it, because it can take a little while to dry. And I only use the strong tone when I don't put it over faces or anything. I just do it on the clothing, and the main thing is I don't even do it on the pikes, because I specific ways I want to do those, and I don't want the strong tone interfering with how I do other bits. So just adding in a bit of the quick shade mixing medium and mixed in. So you might have seen ones. I tend to keep all the bottle caps and have a beer. I think this is what is this? This was a Moretti. This was the Moretti that I had the other day on the stream on Monday. So I keep the bottle caps. It's just good for mixing these little bits in, and then you can just chuck it in the bin. I haven't got to worry about cleaning it. What else have we got? It would be an awesome collaboration. With Napoleonic Wargaming, that would be amazing. If he's game, I am. I have to have a chat, see what he fancies doing, because there's, you know, we could do. I guess you could have a game once the world opens up, depending on where he is in the world, or we could maybe do a bit of a challenge. I'm working on something with another YouTuber at the moment as well, but I can't go into any more details than that at the moment. That's a bit of fun though, and. So yeah, maybe a build, or maybe a history video or something, maybe a collaboration there. That'd be quite cool. So yeah, I'll drop him a line, or if he watches this, yeah, get in touch. Hello, Ken. You're going to be starting your ECW this week. Good stuff. Someone's got to be Parliament, I suppose. I like the if you're over on the Plastic Crack Podcast Facebook group, Matt Mail popped up, Battle Matt, he's popped up a poll for seeing what people collect, sort of like compared to Wars of the Roses and ECW. And when I looked at it last night, there was a distinct lack of Royalist and Yorkist support, but I've flipped onto it today, and both the Royalists and the Yorkists seem to be storming ahead now. So I want to say that that's good. Everyone's got their head on right, but at the same time, that means like there's less opponents. So it's all good. I would still quite like to do a parliamentarian force at some point, and I will do. I do plan on doing some Lancastrians, but not many, because I'm doing Warwick, and the whole reason I'm doing Warwick is he can be used as a Yorkist or a Lancastrian. And that was the whole point. So I can do him without actually fully committing myself to full Lancastrian army. I will probably just do the Earl of Oxford, and then that'll be pretty much it, because I'll have Warwick, Montagu, a couple of others, and Oxford in my army, which will be more than enough for what I need. All right, let's see what we've got here. Use army paint or flesh wash for faces. Yeah, what do I do? Well, you'll probably see in a minute, but I base coat with I use at the moment I'm using Ulf 1 Grey because I haven't got any pallid witch flesh because that ran out the other day. I used a dark oak flesh contrast. I then build up 2 layers with P3 paints, and then maybe chuck on some stubble using a glaze and see what happens. So I put some strong tone over one of them once, and it just seemed to undo everything I'd already done. So if I was going to do them that way, I'd make sure I'd do them all that way. That's the thing. I just want to mist off these helmets here. Oh God, the comments are all coming in. Zulu badgers and burrows, badgers and barricades. Yes, you could use like the mealy bags. Is that what they're called? Mealy bags, meal bags. I think it's gonna have to happen now. Don't tell Dom; he'll be absolutely heartbroken if we say, "Yeah, sorry." I know he's on holiday, so he's not going to be on the stream this week. If he has a look at it and then say, "Sorry, Dom, while you're here, we decided that the big game at CrackCon is actually going to be a giant game of burrows and badgers." I think he'd just pack up and leave. You never know. That might be it. That might be just what tips him over the edge and just gets him out of miniature gaming altogether. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to have that on my conscience. Ken, you want to see what you can get up to? We knew we'd break you. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much, does it? Really? I mean, I just think it's good. I mean, the more people that get historical armies, the more chances we can have of big games. You can just bring along a brigade, can't you? You just say to everyone, right, we want to play a big game of ECW. Everyone bring a regiment. Each person brings along a regiment of foot or a cavalry squadron or whatever. Put them down. Doesn't really matter what commander you've got. If it is Astley or then someone else brings another one, I'll say it's somebody else. It's one of Astley's lieutenants. I was wondering how many horses needed for ECW. I've probably got 20% at the moment. Anyone know if it would be more or less than naps? I'm going with the idea it's less because I don't want to paint that many. So my army setup at the moment is going to be 3 battalion for my basic army. My first battalion is got my what are they called? The King's Lifeguard, the large regiment of King's Lifeguard, so a large pike block and then 2 standard regiments of musketeers. It's got the firelock storming party and a couple of cannons. That'll be 1st Battalion. That's going to be potentially led. Well, that'll be Charles will be the commander for that when I get him. And then for my 2nd Battalion, it's going to be 2 regiments of foot, and that will be led by Hopton. And that's going to have Hopton's regiment of foot. So 1 pike block, 2 musketeers. It's going to have these guys, Bard's regiment of foot. Again, 1 pike block, 2 loads of musketeers, and potentially just a cannon. And then my 3rd Battalion. Ow. And that's the thing about these. You're going to hear me swear a lot in this because I've just stabbed myself in the hand again with one of those pikes. And then the final battalion is going to be a horse battalion. And my plan was to have 1 standard unit of just horse. So 12 cavalry to the unit. And they would... I've got them planned out. I can't remember the name of the guy. Hang on a second. I'll have a look. And then once that's done, I was going to potentially just do another small regiment of cavalry. So Horatio Carey's regiment. But the only reason I've picked this guy, right, is because I was looking through the banners, and this is his banners. I don't know if you can see this, but basically on his banner, he's got like a monster or a stag or something. He's in a barrel, and it just says "Come out, you cuckold" on it. And the one below it says "Cuckolds we come," as if he's as they're coming for you. And basically, there's this idea that he's basically trolling the the Earl of Essex, because apparently the Earl of Essex's wife was a bit free with her affections, and so this guy's written it on his banner, which I thought was ace. So I thought I'd do him. So I thought I'd do maybe a small unit of horse and a standard unit of horse for him, and then dragoons. So I'd have 2 standard regiments and a small regiment of horse. That's my plan anyway. So hopefully that would be enough, and then obviously the mix of cannons. And I figured that would probably be enough for a decent sized game. Obviously there'll be more added to that at a later point, but I think that'll do for now. That'll be about 12 or 14 separate units on the board, and considering this is probably going to be on a 6x4 or a 7x5, I should think that's going to be enough. All right, let's catch up with the comments. Boo! I assume that's in response to the Yorkist and Royalist thing. Royalists and Lancastrians for me. All right, so you're 50% cool then. No, that's awesome. That is cool. Grandad, hello mate. How you doing? You're working on some new bloody miniatures. Still not sure how you're going to enroll them in your armies yet. Yeah, I've got those to add in. I'm going to be popping them on command bases, and I'm going to be using them for my dragoons, my dismounted dragoons. Montague, not Capulets. No. Someone else said that to me the other day when I said about that. No, Montague is John Neville. That's Warwick's younger brother, and another. He's actually quite important in the Wars of the Roses, and he gets overlooked somewhat. I think actually Edward in the end was more upset about losing him than losing Warwick, but Montague was kind of forced into it. I'm surprised no one's actually done any kind of Romeo and Juliet based game yet. When it's just you've got to finish the elves first. Yeah, get them done. There aren't that many, are there? It's about 12. Paint faster. Millers. Battlemate, there'd have been a fairly battlemate. There'd have a very large proportion, a lot smaller battles, but brilliant. Great. So okay. So my plan of not doing very many just flies right in the face of reality. So yeah, and then you get more infantry. It's okay. See you later, mate. I hope you enjoyed the replay. Martin, yes, where are the Zulus? Why they're right there. Those are the Badgers, Martin. If you're 6 infantry battalions and 6 regiments of horse, Jesus Christ, I'm not painting that much horse. That's not happening. I'd rather be under strength. I'm quite happy for someone. If we had 12, if we were both bringing 12 and 12, and I just bought 12 and 3, I'll be happy. I'd play those odds. rather than paint those. Am I going to do Prince Rupert's regiment? I was thinking about this before the stream, actually. Yes, I will do eventually the blue coats. I will do those, and I'll be doing a Prince Rupert. In fact, I think young Ken might be sending me a Prince Rupert at some point. So I'll be using that. So that will happen. Italian Wars is the right period for Romeo and Juliet. Yeah. Yes, it is. Of course it is. Yeah. I don't know why. I always kind of process that slightly differently. Of course it is. Be interesting. There's that game by Wargamer. They do a board game. What's it called? 1666. And they've got you've got the Three Musketeers versus all the normal characters like Cardinal Richelieu and all of that. Plus, also they've chucked in characters from the Fire and Sword books because they make the Fire and Sword war game as well. And then I think they've also chucked in like the Inquisition. I think you can get certain pirates and things. So maybe they've got a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing going on. Right, while they're all drying, I am going to be working on some samurai or just repainting subs. So basically, these are for Test of Honor. I've had them quite a while, but there's going to be some Test of Honor content coming up because I've got the second edition and I'm in love with the rules. I think they're fantastic. And then I've seen some great content on online. So I want to just put some stuff out there as well. And I'm just painting up things for the initial game. And I've got enough, but I need to change colours, otherwise it'll just look like everyone's fighting themselves. So these guys are getting a nice cover of yellow over the top of them. And as I painted them white in the first place, it's actually quite straightforward. If I could actually find my yellow paint. There it is. All right. Oh yes, you've probably seen the back. I've got some Highlanders. The bayonets have all come off them, so I've got to fix those. Miller, Grandad, that's the sort of proportion I've gone for: 5 cavalry and 1 dragoon. Yeah, but Miller, your version of a cavalry unit is ridiculous. You've got more men in your cavalry unit than I do in my musketeer units. I'm not looking forward to that. It's going to take up half the board. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you'll have to come and watch the podcast on Monday. He sent me some pictures. All right, so I'm just putting this contrast paint over the white armor, and all the stuff, the highlighting that I did before should be enough. Oh, it's so scary doing this. There we go. I will be adding a couple of little highlights to this. I'm not just... This is a nice, easy way of getting the base coat on. These are those the figures that I keep on seeing so much contention about, the War Games Atlantic, and I think Warlord Games then got hold of them, gave them away on War Games Illustrated some months ago, and I mean they're not the most detailed models in the world. They're a bit of a pain to stick together, but they do a job. And then I've got enough of these plastics now that I can focus on using the lovely metals that have been put out for this game. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go and have a look. It's Gone for Grey Games. Have a look at the new metal sets for Test of Honor that have been made. They're really nice. He's got some really characters. Obviously, there's you get the 7 samurai on there, of course, and you'll also get see that you get. So it's like a whole set of like just unlikely heroes where you have like a blacksmith, a mayor, a beggar, a geisha, like a tavern owner, and you can just play like a whole force of them, or just add them in to the one you've got. So I'll be adding to my force from there. You've got warrior monks and all of that kind of stuff. Very cool things. And then there's what are they called? I buy their models. I can't remember their name. Baron's War People. What are your name? Footsore miniatures. They make some lovely ones as well. And then Steel Fist miniatures are stunning. I've got some for my Wars of the Roses because they make late 15th century stuff. I think it's mostly meant to be Italian, but that armor would have made its way over here for sure. And yeah, they are lovely. And they've got some samurai in there, and they look wicked. And you can get all etched brass to put on them for their headdresses and the different symbols to put all over them. Very nice stuff. I will be investing at some point with all of the other projects that I've got going on. Right, what else we got? Hello, Guesty, how you doing? What's happening? You're painting Henry Holland's command base. Henry Holland. That's the Earl of Exeter. Generally all round hated, even by his own men. Did not appreciate him. He's the one who died in he didn't die in combat, where after Barnet he just lay there and played dead, and then he was basically forgiven by supposedly by Edward, and then on spoiler alert, on the journey back, he'd been over to France for some reason. On the journey back he just fell into the sea and his men either gave him a little nudge or just didn't help him out. And nobody. He was actually Edward's brother-in-law as well, but he never sided with him. He always sided against him. Probably regretted that. There we go. Some musketeer. Grandad, if you're constructing a Covenant army, but it's really a lot smaller if they didn't have the horse flesh, so each regiment would be about 6 models. I was. Do you know what I looked? But when I was deciding what to do with all the models that Miller sent me, I did think about a Covenant army, or doing the I've forgotten his name, but the Montrose. But then I'd have to find someone to fight against. But then that's just. I might still do some Montrose Irish. I haven't really gone for a great, I'm not depicting any particular army. What I'm doing for the ECW is loosely based on the Oxford Army, but for example, I know that Hopton's regiment didn't get into the that army until much later. So I'm not too fussed about what regiments I put in there, as long as the person I'm playing doesn't mind. I can always say that there was some Montrose Irish that was sent down with a message and they get caught up. It seems to be like something that would potentially happen in a historical fiction novel, maybe. So I was like, I'll stop now. Russian Quill, not 6mm Samurai. They're all on sticks waiting to be undercoated, and my plan is to do them all in one sitting. So I have got them. That is going to happen, but I think I need longer than I would have for this live stream, and I don't know why I've set myself this kind of weird challenge of trying to do them in a day, because and I think that was just because of a conversation on the plastic crack with Ken and Dom, and then I think Steve as well might have pointed out that it would take ages, and I was like, no, it won't. And now I'm sort of regretting that, because I was looking at them. There's a lot more than I realised, which of course is the thing with 6mm. So I've done a test base. I've done one test base, but I am looking forward to getting it done. Plus, it came with a couple of buildings as well. That Kickstarter. So I've got to get those done as well. I don't know what that symbol is either on there. That's not an actual clan symbol, I don't think. I just picked sort of like a random symbol to paint on. Right. Anyway, hope everyone's here. 26 year. Thank you for joining on this Sunday afternoon. If you've only just joined, or if you weren't here at the beginning, just very simply had the time to do some painting. So I thought, why not? And turn the camera on as I'm doing it. Reinhardt, you really enjoyed my latest Wars of the Roses video. The miniature's looking great. Looking forward to see the Calais garrison. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, I really enjoyed that making that video. Been really pleased with some of the feedback. I only went up there yesterday, and it's been getting some lovely feedback. It's great. I like some really good ideas from people for what I could do for other things. So I really enjoy seeing those. I like sort of trying to incorporate other people's ideas as well into what I can do. But yeah, the Calais garrison. So basically, for those of you who don't know or aren't interested in the Wars of Roses, I'll try to keep it brief. But basically, at that point, the only English holding in France was Calais and the area around it, and there was a position within the system, if you like, called the captain of Calais. And the captain of Calais was often the Earl of Warwick, so he enjoyed a lot of support there. And weirdly, he also had lots of connections with the French court. The French really liked him while he was useful to them. There was this whole plan that he was organising a marriage between Edward IV and one of the King of France's daughters, but then that all fell apart when Edward married Elizabeth Woodville, and I don't know how keen the French were on Warwick after that. There's a famous quote, and I think it's from a French diplomat who, when he came over to England, he said that the English are ruled by two people: one, the Earl of Warwick; two, some bloke whose name I forget, because he's talking about the king. Anyway, the Calais garrison were the permanent troops that were stationed over there, effectively a standing army in Calais. And there's a little bit which I'm trying to work out if they'd have worn the livery of the Lord, who was the captain of Calais at that time. But certainly, I think some of them would have worn the traditional cross of St. George, which we know they have over there to distinguish themselves. I will probably paint them with the cross of St. George, but I'm going to paint them really grubby, like they are veterans, like they've come across in the sea. They're going to be sort of like a bit beardy, probably going to be unshaven, and just generally, born again hard kind of crew that you would want fighting for you. So yeah, well, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it, and I've got to get. I've also got to work out how I can without sounding cliche, how I can pirate up some of my troops. I think I'm going to be using a lot of the mercenary set. Grandad. I don't think that Master Moore Cromwell's horse was used several thousands of them, so trying to paint more sure to get used in any war game. Mate, you wait till you see what Miller's doing. Guesty fell into the sea on the king's orders. Yes, I think it was a case of Henry Holland. If he should, who will rid me of this troublesome priest? Oh, it'd be a real shame if Henry Holland, for example, was to fall into the sea, and if there were no life rings available. Am I trying to sneak some Ashigiri spearmen into your pipe blocks? You got me, and the old Ronin as well. See, that's what they needed. If they weren't too busy fighting at that period, they should have sent a couple over. They'd have dealt with Cromwell. Had sorted him out. Montrose had even less cavalry. So that would you might only about one box of 12 figures and you're done. I really should have done that. I really should. Yeah, but oh no! I remember you telling me before there really wasn't a great deal at Tila Tartan either, was there? Well, I don't know. I just doing the tartan on that badger the other day nearly killed me, and that was a large scale model. I don't know what possessed me. Once I've completed all my Warwick units, will you consider doing a Battle of Barnet battle report? Yes, basically. I will. Whether or not I do that with all of my models or I do it against my opponent, the guy who I play regularly with the wars. I say regularly, we've had 2 games that I've managed to film because of Corona. I don't know. So I would definitely do edge cut, which I can do. I've got all of the stuff for that. And I would do I could do loose coat field, but that wasn't really much of a battle. That was a sort of a volley of gunfire and then a bunch of people legging it. But no, I would do Barnet. I would have to build the Earl of Oxford, and I'd have to borrow Exeter off of Guesty if he could. If I could borrow him, and then I'd have to give the opponent all of my Warwick stuff. So I don't know who I'd actually be rooting for. So you'd have Exeter, Montagu, Warwick, and Oxford against Gloucester, Hastings, and Edward. And I'd have to build Gloucester. I've got to sort out Richard III, basically, which I do intend on doing. I'd have to do what's the crap brother? Just talked about. Just done a whole video. What's his name? George Duke of Clarence. I'd have to do him. I could be a bit sick and just have a barrel of wine on the board. Just move that around. He's in that. Says that's how he ended. No, I think I could do Barnet. I'd like to do some kind of fog. I just have to have a friend who could sit vaping next to the board and just keep on blowing it onto the board, or a smoke machine. This is reminding me we had a game of bolt action once, and a friend of mine who was vaping nearby or we blew up a tank. So we pulled the top off the tank, took the turret off, and he vaped into it. And then we put it on, and then I took a photo of all the smoke coming out of it. Stupid things you do. Fortunately, it wasn't one of my models. I think if he'd done that to one of my models, I think I'd have cried. Lionheart, yes, they do a medieval ship, and I do want to do it. And this right, so this is gonna you're kind of getting on to what I'm gonna be doing for my next video, my next part of the project, and that is the Bastard of Falkenberg. I've got him right here. Probably it's not going to come out very well on there, but I've got him here, and he is the Earl of Warwick's bastard little cousin, who is the son of William Neville, Lord Falkenberg, who was like an upright stand-up soldier, and he produced this guy illegitimately. And this chap was basically a captain in the fleet under Warwick, and then when Warwick kind of took more control, his job was patrol the channel and stop Edward coming back, which he failed at because he was too busy looting some Portuguese ships. So he was in command of a certain number of ships, and he actually had Warwick's flagship, and I'm trying to remember the name. I can't remember the name of Warwick's flagship. I'll have to get it. Anyway, when he comes back over, he brings the Calais garrison. He goes to Kent. He gets loads of Kentish men, Kentish archers who traditionally really liked Warwick for some reason. And then he comes to London, and there's a bit of a siege. For those of you that didn't know that, there was a siege of London, and he basically ran some ships down the Thames and started bombarding London. And there was a big battle on London Bridge and at some of the gates of London. So loads of opportunity to do some modelling. So I have been looking at that Sarisa Precision, but I have to add some cannons onto there. So yeah, that's probably a little bit more than we wanted there. But yeah, I definitely want to do that. And then there's going to be obviously beach landings and all of it. Randall's our space. If you don't like tartan, don't touch Montrose. Yep, brilliant. Thank you for the confirmation. That won't happen. Pipe smoke is surely better. Yes, it is. I've lost my pipe. I had a pipe. I don't know where it's gone. Plus Haley will kill me. Miller, seems like everyone in the Wars of Rhodes are a bunch of bastards, really. Both figuratively, yes, and morally. Yeah, they were. There was only a couple of them, weren't there, though? But it's all to do with the times, isn't it? Again, everyone gives, well, supposedly, this probably won't get into it, but the whole Richard III thing, everyone gives him a really hard time, but everyone else is just as bad. They're just as bad. Edward, his brother, dragged loads of people out of sanctuary and had them killed. He had an infirm king, probably battered to death, possibly even by him and Richard and his other brother. There were just so many shady goings on. There's only a couple in there who I think could be considered actually sort of like stand up. William Neville is one of them. Falkenberg. Everyone seems to have liked him, apart from the Lancastrians, I suppose, when he was fighting against them. But he initially fought for the Lancastrians. First battle at St Albans. He was on the Lancastrian side. It's only when his brother, the Earl of Salisbury, sort of called out the king even more, he switched sides and followed the rest of his family. Grandad, you still got your Montrose army to do. Really looking forward to it as well, as long as you've got your Continental army. Yeah, I'd love to see it. But this is a great thing, isn't it? Because there's loads of people that are making those armies as well, and if we can have some kind of convention or gaming meetup, then if people bring them along, then we can all have like an awesome game with it all. And that's part of what I'd love about this. It's certainly what I love about the YouTube thing, has been getting to see everybody's projects. It's just a lot of fun. All right, so let's get the highlights on these guys. Loose pre-Victorian Boris. Yeah, very, very. The Percys were not the good guys. Come off it. The Percy Neville feud, they were. I'm just trying to think if there's anyone good. The Tudors certainly weren't. Maybe the Herberts, although they kicked the Tudors out. But they did look after Henry VII and didn't actually kill him and sort of brought him up all right. So if it wasn't for the Herberts being nice, then we wouldn't have had the Tudors. But then the Tudors gave us Henry VIII. I don't know whether that's anything to applaud, really. We're getting into it now, aren't we? Theorizing. I feel like we should be down the pub. Ow. Oh, I should have done the pikes after I've done this. Rex King, just like to say, started watching your Black Powder battle reports. Excellent stuff. Very weighted. Thank you very much. Yeah, the editing takes a while. When we finish those games, there's usually about 4 hours of footage to edit down. Because obviously, I got when I did the overhead shot, I know I speed that up, but there's some key moments in there that I've got to edit out, and I have to. Usually I can remember pretty much everything that's happened, but at that point, I'll be talking through the rules, and if there's any key moments, I'll repeat it there, so I can then remind myself when I'm editing it to talk about it. So yeah, I'm glad. Thank you very much. There will be another Napoleonic game. It's just hard when you're at home. You got the kids, because we're all very, very tired. Plus, well, Haley definitely wants to play one. I think she enjoys kicking the shit out of my French. We'll have to see if she wants. She doesn't want to swap now. I did offer last time. So do you want to swap sides? Is it no? She's not staying as the British. Staying as the British. These Bicorn models are very, very nice to paint. So once the contrast paint is on and the dark tone, I'm just picking out a few highlight areas on the coats just to sort of bring that out a little bit more. Grey is quite a nice colour to paint them, especially if you can get like a light grey. But I want a bit like with my the last unit, if you guys saw that Hopton's unit, the blue I use, I kind of want this to be like a bit of a faded used blue. I mean, I will be dry brushing all of this at the end, same way I always do. Deck tan, great colour, lots of uses, but that's my main dry brush colour. I do my Wars of the Roses stuff with that as well at the end, even the metallic guys. Well, the camera with the brush. Paint more French first. I've got some French. They're sitting behind me. They've been made up to standard warlord French and great coats, but I can knock them out I can pretty much do 24 in a weekend. I get all the painting done in one day and the basing done in another. So my plan was, well, next weekend basically, I was going to just knock out some French, add them in. Now you guys have probably seen those. Well, you might not have seen, but those videos on the rub boxes. So I'm slow. I just need to get more. I think I worked out to get all my Napoleonics in them. I'm going to need, I think it was 6 rub boxes for my British, but then I need to double stack everything. So we shall see. I have to get some more. Anybody involved in this 8-point Saga Age? I saw some stuff about it, but I haven't looked into it. I couldn't find the original video or who set it up. What's going on? What you got to do? You basically got to build a Age of Magic Saga army, 8 points worth of Saga stuff. Is that it? Is there a time limit on it? What's the details? Wonder how she do against Dom's non-French. I'd like to know. She probably just smashing. The thing is that Haley doesn't have it's all you've probably noticed when we play, hence like the cavalry just charging, and she's one of the only people I know who manages to actually get the charges off. It's a bit of an all or nothing with Haley. She is an aggressive player. Her tactics would actually suit the French army quite well, because she is aggressive and she really enjoys, I don't know if this comes across in the videos, but she really enjoys hand-to-hand combat. She loves it. She loves getting her troops in. So really getting her men in some attack columns, French attack columns, and coming across the board. She loves it. She really enjoys close combat, which is weird because some of the guys I play against, normally they really enjoy shooting, don't like getting the men into close combat. I'm starting to learn quite swiftly that that's the French advantage, definitely. Did I see Great Escape Games making plastic cowboys with Dead Man's Hand? Yes, I did. And then I had a bit of a geek out, shared the post, and started having all sorts of ideas about what I could do. Yeah, I'll definitely be getting some of them. I'll definitely be doing a video on them as soon as I can get hold of them. I'm very excited about that. And I think you get like enough to make 10 for 15 quid. I mean, that's crazy. That's great money. I mean, I know that's only 10 months, but they're multi-part. I mean, the kit bashing that you're gonna be able to do. I know there's a lot of people who just put shiny on there because I know that they're gonna do Firefly stuff and Serenity stuff for Frostgrave. So it'd be great to see how they mix in with that kind of stuff. But hopefully, if this is successful, they'll do some others. If we could have some like, Native Americans, if we could have but multi-part like townsfolk would just be awesome. A multi-part townsfolk set. I was saying to the guys on the podcast, we talked about what plastic set do you want to see. I would love to see a plastic multi-part civilian set for any period. If you did it for medieval peasants, you could string them right the way through, like to a late medieval period, because peasants are peasants. I'd love that. And if you did like a World War II one, you could engage have World War I, World War II. Again, broadly, the same sort of clothing, I guess. And I don't even necessarily, I don't mean partisans. I don't mean people with weapons. I mean like carrying some bread or carrying some sacks. The Perrys do some nice civilian models for different periods and their metals, but just I thought that would just be quite cool. And they're always good for a focus for a scenario like escorting. And you could always chuck in like a couple of peasants or something in an army. I thought about maybe War Games Atlantic are making a lot of decent sets. I don't know. Maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree. What do you guys reckon? Do you reckon a peasant set would be any good? Maybe it's just me. That's what we got in here. Little Legions began it. You're in. You finished by 8 points by the 1st of August. Little Legions. Okay, I'll go and check that out. I have until the 1st of August to build any fancy 8-point army. Okay, I do have a saga. I got some models ready for a Age of Magic army, which I never started. I've actually got the models. I got some models from what are they called? They make resin models on the concept. Raging Heroes. That was it. I got a load of swords that are sort of like like wearing loads of kind of like cloaks and odd armor. But I kind of wanted to. I don't know if anyone has watched the anime series or read it. It's called Berserk. I wanted to kind of do that kind of a setting, make it basically all black and red. And I kind of got these little gribbly minions with them as well. Oh man, it's done. That's absolutely done. But that wouldn't be burrows and badgers. That would be something to do with Space Marine. Would be battle stars and badgers. I don't know. Someone should get in touch. I am going to email the guy and see if tries to incorporate things in that people. Also, just so we could see him explain, like watch. That's it. Yeah, Little Legions. The peasants have issued a complaint. The non-raging heroes, non-sisters of battle. Yeah, these will replace the guns with swords, and that's the Age of Magic book, which. So, this as well, and buy some more. If you guys can hear any kind of like odd sounds in the background, I think my neighbours are drilling through the rules. That's what that is. Fortunately, these guys are all wearing gloves, so the only flesh I've got to do is on the faces. Very, very nice sculpts. And these are sculpted by the same guy who does the bloody miniatures stuff. So they should fit in quite well. These are quite I think they're about half a head taller than the Warlord. So you wouldn't be able to mix them particularly together. Without looking a little bit strange, but on the battlefield, I don't think anyone's going to care. I don't think it's going to be too noticeable. So what's the first game that everybody's going to play? What's the first? If you've got a game lined up, what's the first one you're going to play when you come out of lockdown? Mine's going to be the Wars of the Roses. Hopefully, that's what me and my opponent want to get playing. So what are you guys going to do? What's the first game you want to play? Everyone's been waiting for so long. I bet what is like. Someone's like, oh, you want to do bolt action. The other person's like, no, it is. But of course, if you've got the time, there's many games. Let us know. Oh. There we go. These metal pikes are great for positioning everything, and they go to your but I stabbed myself. I think I've lost count now. I think it was 3 times, and I've nearly just done it again. Brush and Quill, probably Drop Zone Commander. That is a great game, Drop Zone. What have you... sorry, what was I going to say? Drop Zone Commander is great. I've got a PHR force for that. Never finished it. Well, I finished painting it, but I never finished buying stuff for it, and then it became really hard. It seemed to get older stuff. So I think did the property change? Don't TT Combat, Troll Trader, don't they own that now? That's a great game. I had some great fun with that. Miller's doing that as well, isn't he? Shring, Frostgrave, another great game. Another great game. Is that start of a campaign, or is it a campaign that you'd started and it has been on hold for a while? While you're waiting for the sort of like the world to fix itself. I have got a. I did buy stuff for Frostgrave. The great thing is that for Frostgrave, well, because you can use pretty much whatever you want, and I've got a lot of miniatures from role playing games that I've played over the course of the years. I've got a pretty big force I can call on, and plenty of random monsters that can wander around, and that's pretty much how it's a bit like Burrows and Badgers, really. It's kind of the same kind of thing, you know. Well, it's published by both are published by Osprey, aren't they? There we go. You got a bolt action game lined up, something simple to work off the rust. Yep. So I've been obviously quite lucky because I've managed to play Haley. I've had a couple of games outside in my friend's garden the last couple of weeks. And we've been playing Operation Squad. It's very, very quick. A lot of fun with that. It's a good laugh. I really like that game. I think I like it because you can actually throw a grenade in it and cause chaos. It's one of my main things about that rule set. But bolt action will be good. Lazy Pirate Painting. Hello. Not sure I've seen you before, but welcome. Kings of War at your local club on the 23rd of May. All booked. Not that you're counting down. I don't. Wow. Is that Kings of War fantasy or Kings of War historical? It's a system that I've not played. I've heard a lot about because I know it bases very similar to the way I base, which is, you know, the whole unit, and then you rack up casualties. Don't do figure removal. New campaign. Good. Brush and Quill. TT have it now, but Dave from Hawk is still working. Oh, good. So he's the original developer is still on board, which is good because it's his vision. That's good that he's still on it. Yeah, I saw Miller did an unboxing, didn't he, of like a whole load of stuff that he got for that, and dropped Fleet Commander as well. You've got UCM and Resistance. Yeah, I fight primarily against the UCM and the what are they called? The Scourge. I want to say the Scourge. It's been a while, but yeah, I'll be definitely up for a game. Definitely up for a game of that. So many games, so little time. It's the problem, isn't it? Well, it is for me anyway. Someone Abuse UK. Hello, mate. How you doing? It's the fantasy one. What army have you got for the fantasy one? God, go. Just got into wargaming during the lockdown, learning General Army solo, of course. That's that's pretty well done. It's a really good rule set. And if you've just got into wargaming in sort of like the last year and you're taking on that as a rule set, that's really good. Well done. I have played it. I do enjoy that game, among others. That is a hefty rule set. I do enjoy that. What are you? You say are you painting up both sides, or have you got you gone with the French or the Allies, the British? Should probably add in the Prussians and Russians into that as well. What have you got for it? Grandad, no gaming for you, no club, stuck at home and no room to have a board. So I'll be watching you guys. Oh, mate, I will try and have. I'll try and get a game as soon as possible. We've got some Test of Honor coming up. We've got some Test of Honor. And that will be me against Haley. She's looking forward to some samurai stuff. So it should be a laugh. Bit of a different kind of game. See how tactics of just charge and kill them go. Obviously, I put up the poll. I know that everyone loves black powder, but the black powder games do take a little while to do, whereas these other games like Test of Honor or slightly smaller ones like Dead Man's Hand is just easier to get a game in a couple of hours, or even an hour. So working with what I got, but hopefully as the world rights itself, larger games will become more of a regular thing. Any ideas that if Shackles and Bayonets is any good? No, I don't. I love Muskets and Tomahawks as a system, and I love the French-Indian War period for it. I think it's brilliant. Really, really good game. I don't know anyone who's actually played Shackles and Bayonets yet. Dom is really excited about it, and I think the rule book is out, and I think people have been going through the rule book, but I haven't seen any playthrough yet. If anyone's got any playthroughs or knows anyone, if they drop them in the comments, actually, both that for me and Solvent Abuse here, that would be I'm not going to get used to saying that, but that would be awesome. I suppose my only thing that because it is smaller scale, got to remember that. My only thing is I really like the rules for the French-Indian War feel. I don't know how well that's going to translate over to the Napoleonic period. I know that we're only talking sort of 50 years, 50, 60 years, but I just have it. I think I have a very set image in my head, and that's my problem. I just don't know how well that translates. It's already, to me, a stretch. You've got 24 men representing a battalion, and I think the unit sizes are standardly 12, 8 or 12. So you just have to reconcile that. But it's meant for small action games, maybe it's a bit like, when Sharp goes and blows up the bridge kind of thing, and you've just got a detachment. So as long as you kind of don't mind that kind of thing, I don't think you're going to be able to game. I might be wrong, but I don't think you're going to be gaming Waterloo or nothing with it. So you're pretty heavily into King's War. You have 15 armies. Are you doing this at 28mm? Before I'm like, so are you doing this at 28mm, or is this all like 6mm? If that's 28mm, mate, well done, bravo. Come over onto the Plastic Crack podcast page and chuck those armies up. I'd love to see that. Lionheart, you're thinking of getting with a name like that? I would hope you're thinking of getting the Barons War. I was waiting to see if someone do a playthrough. I've seen the rules. They're quite in depth, actually. I do like the look of it. I am resisting so hard doing it. It's so hard trying to keep off of doing it. Shigiri there. But I think Dom's got all the rules. You probably get him to do it. He's definitely got the rule book. Definitely have a look. First game back, I'll probably use his Empire of Dust Tomb Kings. Okay. Oh. My mate had the Tomb Kings back in the day. I was always Vampire Counts. I'll keep an eye open for reviews. Yeah, Shackles and Bayonets. Definitely. I'll keep mine as well. If I find a review, I'll post it up. I would go and buy it and do a review of it, but I don't think it's fair. While I know how to play, I'm not as heavily into that system as others are. So I think someone like Dom would probably be a much better person to do a review of that than me. So you're playing Barons Wars first. Lowe's Lockdown, you got 2 friends, and we'll be playing through the rules. There you go. So go over and check out Battle Map. He's got Battlemat's got a channel. Go check it out. He's done some good playthroughs on. You've done Lion Rampant, haven't you, mate, for Wars of the Roses? I enjoyed that. It was nice seeing a different system. But yeah, there you go. Go and check out Battle Map. Russian Crew, I agree with you. Reshak has been too small scale. I know chosen men had rules for the rest of the battle going on off board. Yeah. See, they actually had rules for rolling to find out what happened in the rest of the battle, not just a case of, oh yeah, the battle's happening elsewhere. They actually had a system for working that out. That's quite cool. Unless, is that what you mean? I mean, if that's not what you mean, I'm going to go off and try and write some rules. Yeah, that's my thing with it. It's I just don't know. I don't know. I think it might Dom. So I keep talking about Dom and Dom. If he watches this, he might as well have just logged in. He's doing the. I think he's doing the retreat from Russia. And I could see it working for that. When you got like broken up lines of men, apart from when you get to the end where they have basically a pitched battle again. But yeah, I don't know. It's just something about it. You know, hopefully it's the same. I've got the same thing about Saga and the Age of Hannibal. I find it very, very hard to reconcile the idea of Roman triarii fighting in groups of 4. And I know you can take massive armies. I know you can do that now. That's the thing. But you know, it's a legion. It's a Roman legion. It's, you know, I find it a little bit weird. But that's just me. That's a personal thing. Doesn't mean I don't like the system. I just find it a bit odd for that time period. They're all 28mm armies, right? Okay, that's awesome. Wow. I mean, I think I've got about 15 armies spread across multiple projects. You must really like that system. Thanks for that, Matt. I'll check it out. Brushing Quill. There was a special rule called Cauldron of War, which gave you a trump card type thing, like one of a cannon barrage of troops in the border edge getting charged by cavalry. Oh, that's quite cool. So that's for chosen men. That's quite a fun rule. So you are literally just looking at that one little snapshot of the battle, but you can bring in some special effects from the rest of the battle. I think Flames of War did something like that. I'm sure there was something like that for Flames of War. Hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was, but I like that. You could introduce that into a lot of systems, and you could. I mean, it's easy to homebrew stuff in, isn't it? You know, like that. In fact, I might have to think about that. We've got a lot of homebrew. I say lots of homebrew. We've got the rules that we use for the Wars of the Roses. We use Hail Caesar, and we've sorted out. I mean, we initially used the statistics that was on the Perry page from their campaign that Rick Priestley had done, but we found that sort of as we went on that we wanted a little bit more variety. So we in the last battle report we sort of started writing our own. We brought in some medium infantry, and also giving individual sort of rules and special rules to the characters. So you know, the fact that Henry Holland was in that game, the fact that he's hated by his own men, we kind of brought that in. We brought in the fact that was it Northumberland hated the Neville, so if you had a Neville on the board, it was easier for him to charge them, stuff like that. And we've got some other rules for cannons misfiring and some weather effects, and we're even working on some sort of I say rules, they're just little homebrewy type things, but some ideas for bribing people and having a little system for trying to pay people off and change sides, which again happened a lot. So there's just some little fun things to add. We're not going to add them all at once. We'll sort of do them slowly, and if they work, and just see what people think, get some feedback. And eventually, what I'll probably do is I'll get a Google Doc and I'll share just the like what we've done for troop types, or just ideas for people to use for stats for the commanders, stuff like that. You know, if anyone's interested. That kind of thing. There's another one good thing. Again, against community, you know, you can share lots of ideas. So people are going to give us some feedback, other ideas like, you know, he's way too powerful, or no, Martin, you clearly hate that guy and you've nerfed him completely. Have I done much Dark Age, early medieval miniatures? Yeah, I have. So I've got an entire Anglo-Saxon. Oh no, it's not Anglo-Saxon. It's an Anglo-Dane army. So I've got an Anglo-Dane army for Saga. I love that. So I've got loads of shield wall miniatures and guys with Dane axes. So I've got that. And then Dark Ages, I've done a complete Romano-British Arthurian force, because one of the games that we're going to play soon as we're out of lockdown, the campaign is we're going to play in Dux Britanniarum, and there's a campaign system in that, and I've got the whole Arthurian force. I've got Arthurian cavalry. I love the King Arthur legend, whether that's you're talking high fantasy kind of, you know, Holy Grail and dragons and all that kind of stuff, or whether you're just looking at the base legend and things. So Saxons and Vikings. So we've Vikings, Saxons and Arthurians. So I've got that. So yeah, that will be getting stuff down. I've got a video. If you go back, if you check back on the channel, can't remember how long ago it was, but if you check back, there is I did a showcase on my Arthurian stuff last year. I think it was about the summertime. So yeah, if you're interested in that, go check it out. That was mostly Grip and Beast, solvent abuse. Adding more to my Napoleonic French. Yep, that ongoing. I'm never ever going to finish my French. There is no end to that project. I don't have an end sort of idea in sight. I've got 24 that are behind me now, which I'm going to be making up and sorting out into another unit, probably Italian, and I'll be adding at least one more to them. I wanted to do, obviously I've got loads of cavalry to do, which I keep on putting off. I wanted to do some Mamelukes. I'd say cavalry. I've got putting off the cavalry. I want to do some Mamelukes. And I want to do, I was going to do some Prussians, but I think I'm going to sell them because realistically, I'd rather focus now on the allies that I've got, and I've got a big Hanoverian contingent, and I think I'd rather do that. So the Hanoverians, I did a whole video on painting them actually, and I'll be putting those up for sale probably along with the other Hanoverian bits and bobs that I bought. So no, there will be some more. I need to do some more command bases because I'm running out. You homebrewed drop zone commander rule where destroy commander became an objective marker. That's cool. That'd be cool in pretty much any game actually. That'd be quite cool in Black Powder if the corpse of the commander, when they do die, becomes especially in the Wars of the Roses. If you use Hail Caesar, I might have to appropriate that. Credit will be given. I quite like that. If you get his corpse, he just gives you an extra victory point at the end because they were into displaying people to just like prove that they were dead. I like that. Miller, we need a game of drop zone commander and drop fleet. I'm up for that. Lion, agree with you about the Romans in Saga. It's a bit strange. I do play the Crusades version of Saga, maybe a late medieval Renaissance Saga universe. Yep, absolutely. Samurai was one that I was thinking they might do. But then I suppose Test of Honor kind of fills that. Plus, there is a samurai game from Osprey. It's called Ronin, I think. So, for those you're wondering, I'm now just popping on the done the base coat of Dark Oak Flesh on my these guys' faces. Now I'm going over it, and I use P3 paints because I find their flesh paints are brilliant. So I use Midland Flesh. So I did a base of Ulf 1 Grey. Dark Oak Flesh. Now I just go over it and I pick out the nose, tops of the cheeks, the chin with a mid-tone, and then I'll come back in a minute and I'll be just doing like a little dot on each of those areas again with a much lighter flesh. And it's usually like an elfy flesh. I think that's the most common sort of term for it. It's like a very, very pinky peach color. Droga. Painting up a Confederation of Rhine and Austria while reading the army rules and watching two fat lardish tutorials, 20 mil metal, 20. Wow, and you've just gotten into wargaming. That's impressive. Mate. Pop up if you're not already on it. Pop over to the Plastic Crack Facebook group, join up, share some pictures if you want. That sounds like an awesome project, especially as you're only just starting. That's awesome. Just is cool. Check that out. As well as Saga, I looked at Raven's feature rules by Little Woods. Great to see rules for Hero. Yeah, Miller shared them with me, and I downloaded them, and I lost them somewhere on my phone. So I need to have a look. I will check them out. Again, it's just nice to have another rule set. Is there what do you guys think? Is there any kind of period that you don't think is well represented in gaming or needs better rules? Let's leave Napoleonics out of this because there's hundreds of Napoleonics rule sets and everyone's got a favorite. So let's leave Napoleonics. What do you guys reckon? Is there something out there that hasn't been represented that needs to be represented? What do you guys reckon? Bugger. There we go. What else have we got on here? You got about division to paint when you get time. That's the thing, innit? Half a core for each paint we play in the Grand Manor. 36 to battalion. Yeah, I use 36 men to represent large battalions. Russian, yeah, Ronin. So Where do I buy my P3 paints? We had a shop in town that's now closed, so obviously that's not very helpful. eBay. I get a lot of them on eBay. And I want to say Element Games. I think it was Element Games. They carried the full range, but obviously since things have changed, I haven't bought any in the last year or so. They because I only ever used them for highlighting. I don't get through it very, very quickly. So I'd have to check, but definitely eBay. I know I've got them on eBay. Granddad, got to go to doggies walking. He's getting bored. Take care. All right, mate. Take care of yourself. Enjoy your walk. Brush and Quill. Yeah, you have again. Free Kingdoms, China. Very true. I think you might win with that, to be honest. Free Kingdoms, China. That would be cool. Again, the thing is, every time everyone talks about that, and I know this is bad, but all I can think about is that bloody game, Dynasty Warriors. That's the only thing I can think about. I assume you don't mean in that kind of a style where like one guy takes on like 500. You actually mean a historical representation. Crossing, Obstacle Gaming. Hello, mate. Use Midland Fresh all these minis. Basically, that and P3 Bootstrap Leather is my go-to paints. Yeah, everyone's got those go-to paints, haven't they? I've got my my Flesh Change from P3. I've got Deck Tan from Vallejo. And I have Trollbud Highlight, funny enough, from P3. Lovely paints. 16th century, love to do a Periworks and Maximum early Tudor stuff. Have you seen Steel Fist Miniatures make Tudor dollies? When I say dollies, I don't mean dollies. I mean they're basically little bodies of men. So basically it's the legs and the upper bodies of men that have been scaled perfectly to the Wars of the Roses sets. And you can use the Perrys make Tudor heads. So you could buy these bodies from Steel Fist, and then you buy the plastic sprues, and then the arms from those fit perfectly onto them. And they've got more coming out. So I don't know if you've had a look at that, but basically, yeah, you've got early Tudor bodies, Tudor heads. I don't know, I think it might work out a little bit more expensive than normal because you're going to be buying from multiple sources. But that's somewhere where you can do that. And then I suppose gaming wise, you're kind of crossing that area, so you're really into the pike and shot period. But yeah, if you're looking for those minis, but yeah, check them out. I think they're going to be adding to it as well. Battle Matt, he was looking at the sequels in India and the Mughal Wars. I like the idea of rifles and swords and shields in the same battle. That's very cool. I've seen some lovely looking boards. The Great March Hare Revolt against Evil Pigeon Open Hordes in 1783. Criminally over. I agree. We just need to have a big Burrows and Badgers game. That's the answer. Get it out of everyone's system. Hi guys, been painting away myself. More naps. Always one more unit. LAJP. I hope you're doing well, mate. Always one more unit. There's always one more unit. Market's pretty saturated these days with games and rules. I think we're in a bit of a renaissance when it comes to tabletop gaming. I agree. It's very hard to think of a period and of anything original as well. I've noticed, maybe it's just me, I've not been as sort of blown away by recent Kickstarters and things like that because, it's treading over a lot of old ground already. I think what's interesting people is more dynamic rule sets that people can use, especially things that introduce campaign systems. People like that progression. Late 16th century European wars, Polish and Swedish. Crimean War. Yeah, I mean, Warlord do make some Crimean War stuff, but there's no source book, which surprises me, actually, because they have got a decent size range of stuff. And the Perrys make some Crimean War things. So, yeah, they have. It's surprising that people haven't picked up. They could have done like a Battle of Balaclava starter set. Just chucking. Maybe that's something they'll do for the their next epic scale thing. Maybe they're going to do World War II, but personally, I hope not, because they've already got bolt action, and World War II again is a very saturated market. But then that's what people love. So what do? Do you risk a period that no one plays, or do you try and start someone new? I don't know. Brush and Quill. What do you reckon? Free Kingdoms epic scale. There'll be two people definitely buying it. Well, maybe it may just be one. Actually, I might just put words in your mouth. You get to see more models from Ogre Wars. I'm not sure. SP. Marshall Nay, how you doing, mate? What is a good varnish? The kind I bought was not really worked. I'm probably going to go to hell for saying this. I use the GW Munitorium varnish because it has a slight. It's not entirely matte. It's not 100% matte, and I like that. And I used to use the Army Painter one, and then I had one of those horrific moments where the frosting happened, and it only ever seemed to happen with the Army Painter stuff. So I stopped using it. Dungeon, Burgundian Wars. They've only got one box of. Yeah, the Burgundian Wars. Well, the thing is, you can use the Foot Knights and the Wars of Roses infantry for that stuff. Burgundian Wars, because we've been collecting the Wars of Roses and doing Burgundians, my opponent is really interested in going in and doing that. So I was looking it up. It is something that may happen at some point. I've got loads of Burgundian flags, loads of them. I'll find a use for them. So yeah, maybe some Burgundian Wars. Oh. Prussian Quill too soon before the Anglo-Maratha Wars. Yeah. I mean, if anyone knows 3K China Wars, let me know. He's happy to be wrong. I think I might have looked it up before. I'm sure I found some, but I think they were like Diddy, and there wasn't a massive range. The Swiss Swabian War of 1499 about the donk I'm thinking of doing. Okay, that's precise. I'm not even going to pretend to know anything about that. Age of Valor, offshoot of Age of Eagles, have a Crimean War supplement. Okay, just wanted to check out. Did you see that the MFA chat with Matt from Warlord, they plan to do wars where both sides look the same or similar to maximize the 12mm sets? Crimean War, then. Crimean War would be all right. You're only changing the headgear, aren't you? I suppose. Kind of Napoleonic looking. Maximize the 12mm sets. Well, I suppose Samurai, that's an option then. And it's basically you're looking at civil wars. You're basically looking at civil wars mostly then, I suppose. Apart from obviously Napoleonics. Okay, that leaves me. I still think that 12mm stuff, the epic stuff, would work quite cool for hoplites. I can see that English Civil War and hoplites. Prussian Quill, do Curtis Winches do them? Or is that my move? Dungeon, the Burgundians are a very specific style of armor, and I would love to see the represented world. The accounts are really amazing. I recommend looking it up sometime. I have seen some of it. I was looking into armor types when I was doing my Wars of the Roses stuff, and there is a where is it? It was in I want to say Eindhoven. There was like this suit of armor that was on display for a while, and it looked stunning. But yeah, I'll have to look into it a little bit more. Definitely. Wow. Oh God, we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes, and I've nearly finished. Have I just done all of their faces? Just need to do the hair. Yep, they're done. Eyes last. Are you done? Nope. Oh, well, thank you everybody for joining me, keeping me company. I'm doing this. It's nice to have a chat. My neighbours probably think I'm going nuts because they know that Haley's gone out, and they can probably hear me talking and wonder who I'm talking to. What lovely models these are. See, the thing is, I'm a bit scared now that the moment I come offline, I'm going to go straight on Bicorn's website and order some more. If you're watching this on a replay, thank you very much for tuning in as well. Next video coming out will probably be Test of Honor, to be honest. That's something else I actually meant to ask. Are people interested in build videos, like literally when I'm building the stuff? I do the painting videos, like, how I paint stuff, and, but I don't really do anything about how I convert. And I've been trying to think about sort of like how I would do it. But are people actually interested in that? Because I could see it being fairly limiting when I'm sort of sticking together like units. And I don't know if people are actually interested in that kind of thing. Obviously, everyone wants battle reports, but, you've got to try and work with what you can. Peloponnesian War in Epic Cell? Yeah. What's the Warlord ECW minis like? Right. So the hard plastic ones that are on strips, I've heard good things about. Basically, I think a lot of people have enjoyed them, and for the ease of painting. I don't know about the Warlord stuff they produced in the Warlord resin and the metals that they produced. So I'm probably not the authority to speak on that, even though we did the giveaway, which was, it's cool. But I think the hard plastic stuff is meant to have gone down well. And I've seen some people do some nifty conversions. I think a lot of it comes down to, have you got anything in that scale of that period already? If you haven't, and you wanted to get into black powder, then that's sort of like the perfect stuff to do. And if you haven't, if you've already got the stuff, I think some people were maybe a little bit disappointed it didn't fit in with a range that they've already got. Yeah, well, that's just one of those things that I guess we have to live with, isn't it? You can't always do that. It's like this. I mean, I'm using these Bicorn models with a Warlord. I don't know if I've got a Warlord. Hang on, here we go. So that's a block of Warlord Pike, and that is, I don't know if you can really see. He's about half a head higher. So on the grand scheme of things on the battlefield, I don't think it's going to be noticeable. But obviously, if I chuck them next to each other, you will notice. You will see it. It'll be quite obvious. She's going to have black hair. You're going to have black hair. What else have we? Oh, let's show the cannons. What is my technique for doing skin? You still struggle with it? Joe. I think I just went. Just missed it, mate. But basically, I don't know if I do mine convoluted, but I basically do a base with a light color. I usually use like Pallid Witch Flesh from GW. However, I've run out of that, so I used Ulthuan Grey today. I then used the contrast paint Dark Oath Flesh over the top of it, and then I build up I basically highlight the cheeks, the nose, the chin, and the brows with a mid-tone flesh color. And then I just get a dot of the light tone flesh color, and I just do the end of the nose, the brow, and the tip of the chin, if I can see it, and that's usually enough. Sounds convoluted, but it doesn't take very long. We prefer building on kit bashing videos to painting ones, to be honest. Okay, cool. All right, well, I might give one a go. I've got to come up with. I've got to kit bash together some piratey looking guys. Some sort of. I really want this next look. I don't even know if it's probably not going to be particularly historically accurate to what his men were actually like, but I really want to do some proper like scum of the earth sailors and Calais garrison troops. Yeah, okay, maybe I'll flip the camera on when I'm doing it. It might just be a lot of me swearing and sticking my fingers together. Mind you, this is probably just a live stream of me swearing as I stab myself on these bloody pikes. Hello, Mike. How you doing? You just finished work out for everyone's. How's everybody getting on? Well, it's going well. Thank you for joining. A lot of your Wars of Roses figures that you've shown are well kit bashed and converted, as well as some of the work you do with the green stuff. That'd be cool to see. Okay, well, all right. I'll give it a go. See what I can come up with. All right. I'm going to do some blonde hair, which is always a nightmare. So for blonde hair, I always use. See, I don't just use contrast paints. I do use other things, but for things like hair, where you've got a lot of texture, I just find that they get it done quickly. If it was like one of these kind of like fantasy models where like the hair is like flowing and going off in lots of different directions, then I'd probably spend more time on it. But I just find a contrast paint now that's the color of the hair I want to put it on, which is a bit lazy. But basically for blonde, I use Nasdrag yellow, which is a very sort of orangey yellow, but I mix in some Gore Grunter fur with it, mix the two together, and that's how I do blonde hair. So let me get a little mix like this. Let's do this here. And it basically gives like a dirty blonde hair. He hasn't used any L'Oreal or anything. And he's been on campaign, fighting against old Ironsides. There we go. So one. Hello, mate. How you doing? You wish someone would make you wish someone could make Napoleon French Marmaloos. Does anyone? Right, there is one Gringo 40s make Marmaloos. I think they're a little bit pricey. They might be a little bit pricey. Well, they might not be that pricey, but if you want a unit of 12, I think it might run you a bit. Gringo 40s. Check them out. They're who I was looking at for doing them. Happy to watch you building. You bought. I bought all of these CW Sideboards, and you've bought, and I bought metal, and I'm happy with it. It's good value, definitely. You'd like to see that as well. Brush and Quill, check that out. JP, you love Bicorn. Most of your ECWs are made up of them, and the old Renegade figures. Yeah, and it's the same sculpture, isn't it? And it's the same sculpture on those new bloody miniatures. He's got some new. I think he's got the next 2 sets. I think he said he's got the next 2 sets coming out in I think a few weeks' time. I can't remember what he said. I think we might be getting some sort of some guards, some like sentries and stuff. It's quite cool. How many blonde people have I done? I've done 2 blonde, 3 dark hair. Let's get some brown hair now. Damjan, you've made 1 ECW pikeman with a spare Cromwell head attached to his pike. I had to do a conversion. Nice Easter egg, in my opinion. Did you? I know it's you I was talking to before about Cromwell's head. There's actually now. I was looking on Amazon, and there's actually a book. It's written. I think it's almost like a history of Britain written from the point of view of Cromwell's head. Don't forget that shit, Martin. Like you build it. Yeah, and I'd also probably heavily convert it, mate. But if I do that, I'm gonna have to make. Basically, if I do that, I'm going to have to make the Thames and London Bridge. And London Bridge in the medieval period isn't exactly the London Bridge we got today. Oh, stop it. Do you know what? You're getting into this. I have got some terrain planned. I've got a big terrain build. Well, I've only done a couple on the channel, but I've got something planned because of all these Wars of the Roses and nobody making the big castle kind of building that I want. And I'm not going to be building a whole castle, but there's certainly parts of it I'd like represented. I might be going and bringing in some getting some architecture stuff, and it's not going to be a case of this is how to do it cheaply or this is how to do it fast. It's going to be I'm literally building this. I'm probably going to make a lot of mistakes on the way, so I've got that planned, but I've got to finish my other men first. Cool. Yeah, Gringo 40s. It's not. That's so out of order, don't it? It's not. It's been historically accurate. It did end up on a spike. It's now it's now buried not too far away from where I live in Sydney, Sussex College. That's where he ended up. Right, he hasn't done his hair. It's never a good sound, is it? Ah! Sound of metal models falling out. Ah! Oh God, what's going on? Right, put the paintbrush down, Martin. I spiked myself twice then. I heard someone, I can't remember who it was. He said it's not a proper pike unless you pick it up and it makes you bleed. Okay, there we go. Right. Okay, let's get some brown in there. I think we'll probably keep this going for another 10 minutes or so, and then I'll have to go and hunt down some food. Hello, mate. Travis, how you doing? Thank you for popping in. How's it over there? We've got a glorious bank holiday weekend over here. How's the weather over there? You're going to tell me it's like 30, well, no, 30 degrees, 30, well, no, it's going to be a lot more than that over there because you use Fahrenheit. But was it? Lovely day, I hope. General, hello, mate. How are you doing? Avalanche of minis. Yep. It's never a good thing. Never a good thing. This is why, and there's also actually another reason I like these all going on large bases is you can't just knock over like one guy and then you get the domino effect going through them all. Once I've got these done, all I've got to do is go through and highlight the white, and then I'll be ready to do the pikes. And after the pikes, dry brush, eyes, done. Oh, you know, I've got to do the buttons. Can't forget the buttons. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. But they have some fabulous STL medieval files. Can you purchase? I could get a professional printer. I mean, how? Ooh, okay. Hang on. Right. I always have real problems finding comments from people on the podcast, on everything. I have real issues finding the comments after they're gone. Hang on a minute. I'm going to write that down. Here we go. I'm going to write them on the back of my notes for my next video. Look at this. This is all stuff to do with the Bastard of Falkenberg. Research I'm doing. Hang on. I'm going to write it down. My mate has a 3D printer. It's not a like, you know, sort of professional level. You know, it's an Ender Pro one, but everything I've seen him do on that is cool. So I'll have a look at that. Thank you very much for sharing that. Anyone has any of that kind of stuff, or you know, let us know. It's always good to have a list of reliable, good sources for our hobby. Essex Miniatures doing Marmaluke in 25mm. Has anyone seen the new Essex miniature from the guy who sculpted it? It's going to be in the new late British mortar set, World War II. It looks lovely. The crew look awesome. I haven't been sort of that impressed with World War II model for ages, and I do play World War II. I think some people think maybe I don't, or I've got some kind of issue with it. I don't. It's just that I find a lot of the oh man, Steve's going to shoot me. But basically, I find a lot of the models really samey. Coming from someone who's building like a massive like men at arms, I mean, I know it's very hypocritical, but there's some lovely stuff coming out now, and it's tempting me, and I'm very tempted because I play this game Operation Squad, where you only need like 10 men. I was looking at doing the Russian what they call is it the Black Death, the naval brigade, basically, because you can have basically them as an army because you're only including like 6-7 guys, so you can buy that warlord set and bash your army. I've got some assault engineers to do for the Russians. I've got a little partisan force as well. That is a very big mustache. So I'm just doing the beards. Best rule set for Napoleonics, just got into myself and not exactly sure what you should try out first. Depends on what you're looking for, as everything else. If you want something easy that you can do in an evening, then of course I'd say Black Powder, because I find it fun. It's enough. It's not necessarily a, should we say, a simulation of warfare, but I have a good enough time with it. It's fun. You can do it in an evening. The rules are easy to understand and to alter if you want to. And there's obviously plenty of support for it. So that's a good one. Another one is Sharp Practice. That's definitely worth playing. That's another good fun game. Oh, my God, that's a massive moustache. Or yeah, all right, we'll paint him with a massive moustache. Detail on these faces is amazing. Okay, that's all of them. Crossing obstacles depends on what scale you want to play and what type of game you like. Right, Vasily, you need quite a large build plate, otherwise segment of files when you slice them. Okay. Oh, well, we'll take a look at them. Lionheart, the new pike and shot rule set he's come up with is called Pikes and Plasters, because it's what you need when you finish with the pike. Hello, Kitchen. How you doing, buddy? How's it going? I should do an expansion for it, line, and call it Muskets and Gauntlets. Maybe there's some kind of product you can do there, you know, like when you're a butcher and you have to wear like chainmail gloves to stop you slicing your hands apart. Maybe we can make some kind of gamer-friendly glove for all these ECW and 30 Years War players, so you don't cut yourself to ribbons. Right, so there are the beards ready to go. So I've just got to go back and do the bids. What time are we on now? Well, we've got about 7 more minutes. Let's do some highlighting on the white. And that'll be the whole lot done. Quite pleased with that. And that's half my pike block done. And then I can get on with the front with all the guys with the charge pikes that are sticking out. I mean, I think these guys are worse probably because they're sticking up at odd angles. All true wargamers have bled from spiky bits and super glued their hands together. It's very true. I keep on telling this story, and he's probably going to be watching this. But my brother-in-law Ian was sticking together some miniatures, and he spilt some high contact industrial super glue on the side, and his instinct straight away was to wipe over the top of it with a dishcloth, or it was a kitchen. It was a tea towel, and then he instinctively just turned it over and wiped back the other way. And then the next thing you know, he had this thing super glued to his hand, and he was waving it around frantically. It looked like he was Morris dancing, having this thing stuck to his hand. And then when he finally got it off, when he finally managed to rip it off, he had all the fibers from the tea towel stuck to his hand. I don't know why I'm laughing, because he was in quite. I think it really hurt, but I'm just a horrible person. Sorry, Ian, if you watch this. Val, that's a massive advantage using Warlord ECW plastic pikes. They are, but they still hurt. They still hurt, just not as much. Tiny cork tips for each pike. Yeah, you got it. Recommendations for 28mm nap flags. GMB, mate. GMB flags. I would recommend GMB over. Well, we're not over everything. I do use them. I've used them exclusively for my Napoleonics, and I'm using them for my English Civil War. Now, the issue you might have here when you go on there is that it doesn't have photos of them all. Trust me, if you can find a picture of what it looks like somewhere else and it's the flag you like, and he's got it on GMB, order it, because I've never been disappointed with the flags that I've got. I mean, you're getting them like this. You get two to a. She's having about £3.50 a sheet. So these are English Civil War flags, obviously, but you get all that sort of folding effect done on it. They're decent thickness, and I've never been disappointed with them at all. And there's guidelines on there for sort of like cutting them out, but he hasn't got a photograph of everything, and it's just one guy, and he's got a day job as well. So sometimes they can take a while to dispatch, because they are very, very, very popular, and he gets some orders. So bear with him. But whenever I've emailed him as well, he's been very responsive. So that would be my recommendation. I know there's other ones like Flags of War and stuff like that, and they're good as well, but I'd say GMB. You've always assumed that the blood split on the blast pike is a sacrifice of the dice god to be worried to stop this. That's very true. I don't know if anyone's noticed this. I had a comment on one of my battle reports today, and it's the first time it's been picked up, and I'm always been surprised it's never been picked up more. Someone asked why Santa. If you look behind us in the battle reports, there's a mirror, and there's a Santa stuck on it, and he basically stays there now. He stays there through all the battle reports, like some kind of omen, like watching over us. Some kind of vengeful presence. The real reason is because my daughter really likes it up there, and I think it just. I don't know if he's ever going to be able to. He's ever coming down, but that's just reminded me of that. You're playing GW Goblin Army on the floor of my mate's house. It was like playing on some kind of even sharper Lego floor, mate. I think we've all been there. It's like treading on a piece of Lego is like one of the most painful things that you can do. Treading on a wargaming figure with a brass pike. It's just the end of days. Well, I'm very, very pleased with these, and when we get done, I actually have two things to chuck up on the stream tomorrow. So, of course, if you watch the Plastic Crack podcast, it's been hosted by Steve from On Point HQ for the first time. So head over to On Point HQ, and you'll be able to see us tomorrow night and chatting away. I don't think Dom can make it, and I don't know what Steve's picking as a subject. So we could be in for something quite entertaining. But no, head over. If you don't watch the Plastic Crack podcast, why not? Actually, no, I can think of he probably got far better things to be doing on a Monday night. But come over, check it out. Come on the Facebook page, and you'll be able to catch up with all of us, and I'm probably going to chuck up some pictures of what I've managed to do here. Go on there and share everything, and yeah, if you've got any suggestions or ideas, let us know. JP, gotta be GMB. Yeah, thumbs up for GMB. Shring, my nephew was super gluing in. Hey, I don't want to know. I couldn't find my Kingdom of Holland on GMB, so I had to go. I was like, oh no, I thought I had some Dutch stuff on there. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe suggestion. I did consider. You know, I hope getting in touch with the guy, because I'd love to sort of chat with him and sort of like have a, you know, about how he does the flags and that. I'd love to know that. So I've in fact I've actually sent an email out. But fantastic. Well, thank you very much, guys, for sticking around, watching me paint and spear myself. I hope it's been enjoyable. I've had a good time, and I've nearly finished half another unit. So that's always a good thing. That's what bank holidays are for. Some people spend time with their family. Some people do really important house jobs. Finishing units is the way to go. So I'll say that. Hey, actually, no, I'm pretty certain she's not going to watch this. This is fine. So there we go. Brilliant stuff. All right then, chaps. Well, I hope you all have a fantastic bank holiday weekend. What's left of it. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will catch you guys all again soon. Take care. See you in the next one.